right, everyone. Welcome to the close. Of course, we've got about 27 minutes now until the market does close here, and it seems to be a red day. Surprise announcements across the board from some central banks. ECB slowing the rate of bond purchases, not necessarily expected yet. And of course, the Bank of England. What was that? Interest rate hike out of nowhere. Sneaky, sneaky. Now, the market doesn't seem to like it. Could be also an excuse coming into quadruple witching. We did expect some weakness. Interestingly enough, though, we do have some nice push outs here from some of the metals. So the follow-on effect from all of these announcements has been positive towards the gold trade, the silver trade, and even the oil trade seems to be doing okay right now. Let's have a look at the major markets. Let's firstly check out the SPX. Let's move over to that one. We'll just put some labels on here so you guys can see what's going on. There we go. Labels, there we are. All right, so we were at the tippity top. It looks like we slightly opened above there, and then we've fallen straight back down. So is this unexpected? The answer, I would say, on the S&P 500 is no. It's pretty expected. Massive sugar rally off the announcement, hits the resistance. We know this resistance is real. We haven't seen a daily closure above it, and that's why we set an alert. And the kind of alert that you're looking for here is obviously a closure above this zone. So a bit sneaky here on the market today. There is some buying into the close. So let's have a look at the 15-minute chart. You notice the last two candles, there is some buying here. And that's a good sign. I mean, it's come back down to where it was. It's purchasing off this area at the moment, the S&P 500. And that is what you want to see. You don't really want it any lower than where it has gone. It's basically come right back down. Previous little bit of resistance, obviously resistance here, becoming some support, and it is purchasing off that. The biggest surprise is most likely the Nasdaq to most people. That sold off incredibly hard. When you've got interest rate hikes, I guess like really it hits growth the most. And especially when you have the Bank of England coming out of nowhere and attacking it, it's really creating this sector rotation. And you can tell because it's not all markets that are down. US 30 is up 0.08. US 100 down 2.29. And then, of course, the S&P only down 0.72, but led heavily by tech. If we scroll this red side, let me look here. Red, 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 red. Almost everything is red. Look at it, all red because there's so much tech in this particular watch list. So much tech. But if you think about, John Deere, is that tech? Not really. I guess it kind of is nowadays. And then we've got Cat, industrials, not doing too bad. So yeah, massive difference here. Baldo says, good night, Tom. Ahoy. Yeah, good morning for me, but yes, absolutely. Pound also moving a lot, yes, and you can tell that it's surprised because we don't usually look too much at the currencies here on this particular stream, but if you think about it, that announcement came out and really shocked the pound here. And it's come off a nice base, and it went up quite heavily. It was up about 0.7% at one stage there. And it's come back down. A lot of currency traders will be very interested in this zone. So they're going to be interested in this previous kind of resistancy zone being a point of interest for their trade. So very interesting. Pretty bad sell-off on the Nasdaq, I'll say that. Probably bigger than I would have expected. I wouldn't have expected 2.33 today down. I thought we'd get like a 1% down day. Maybe hit somewhere around this level here, 16,000 again. We're now at 15,862, so almost we're all the way back down. We do want to see buying coming into the close. That's the key here for Friday. So remember, Friday is quad witching. If you're not familiar with what quad witching is, I think I've got a little image here for you. 1 second. Here you go. So quad witching, basically all of the options expiring at once. We've got the index options, stock options, futures, single stock futures, and it happens once every quarter. So we're in the December at the moment, third week, third Friday, the major stock expiration day. Let me bring up some options. I want to see what's going on with actually the SPY. Let's have a look at where we've got some big option puts and calls. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring it on right now. All right, so let's see. Where would Wall Street like to close this market? Somewhere between that 4 465, 460. And what's that? Probably like a 470. So we could probably look at Yahoo options to find out. Somewhere in here would be perfect for them. You can see there are so many puts, though, underneath this zone, yeah, guys. Look how many puts there are. So it's unlikely. I don't believe Friday will be negative. What do you guys think, though? I want to know what the chat thinks here. Will Friday be negative? Tell us your thoughts. Let me have a look at the QQQ. See where the strike is for that. Nowhere near as much on the QQQ in terms of options trades. Everything just sitting around that 400. So if we go over to our SPY or our Nasdaq and we just chuck in the QQQ, you'll see 400 is actually right here. So it's where it was. Not a huge amount on that. Let's see what everyone thinks. Says relief bounce, green day tomorrow. We sell off every day. Says Tigi's Game Review. I'm not sure about that. And someone says Nasdaq is dead. People lose. You're losing faith so fast in the Nasdaq, guys. Slight green, flat, amber. Hope not. Maybe not negative, but not positive either. Okay, a few people saying like flat days here. I feel like green for the day. I mean, look at this Nas. Look at the S&P. Look at the S&P buy into the close. Look at them. Little ants. They're collecting they're collecting it. They're like, yum, 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 yum. We want the good deal. I mean, that's super sneaky. Look at the 1 hour. The follow through to the 1 hour on the S&P 500 anyway. Yes. Doesn't look too bad. I'm going to go with green. You guys seem to be split. Bradley B, $5. Thank you very much, Bradley. Going to see Spider-Man. Took some Apple puts at HOD and scaled out all day. Last one was cost 34 cents and sold it for $4.45. Oh, very nice, Brad. Feeling good about that. For 34 cents and went to $4.45. That's not too bad. Obviously, you didn't have them for long hold. Enjoy the film. Hopefully, it's good. Not sure if I'm going to see that Spider-Man film. I don't think I will. Maybe later. I don't know. I've lost interest in Marvel films recently. I haven't watched quite a few of the recent ones. Maybe the next Avengers or something. Lucas Reese, $2. Hey, Tom, could you take a look at HelloFresh? Oh, that's on the stock market. I didn't even know. HFG. Yeah, that's the meal delivery service, yeah? We'll check that out soon. Friday will be slightly positive. What do you think about PayPal? Probably nothing much changed on PayPal, but let's have a look at it today. I haven't actually checked it out yet. Yep, nothing much changes. Still hovering around a good accumulation zone. Look, the stock isn't exactly getting melted every day anymore, is it? So this is what you want. This is the type of base that you hope for when it comes to making purchase decisions, making investment decisions, because you're basically saying, okay, have we seen buying around 180? The answer would be yes. Have we seen PayPal holding up stronger than stuff like some of the other things in the market? The answer is again yes. And it's hovering around this zone. So it's clearly at a point where people feel that it's more fair value. Look at Square though. Square's busting a new low. This is literally going through and there's no recovery here. It's just basically just going, hey, we're ready to go to the next price. It's amazing how many of these hyper stocks have just not shown us turnaround yet. See, PayPal, it's still an accumulation. We haven't seen the turnaround, neither with Square. Very nasty. Let's check out that HFG for... Oh, where is it though? What exchange is it? Guess it's this one. Ooh. Not sure I love this, man. me go with I don't like this. And I probably don't even like the model coming out of lockdown. I don't think it makes sense people are going to keep this out of lockdown. And probably why it's suffering a bit at the moment. People are going to spend money on services. People are going to go back to restaurants. That's going to make less profit for their growth curve. I don't know. What does the chat think about HFG? I mean, I do not like this. This looks like catching a falling knife. If we got knives in the chat, that would be what this is. Double top on AAPL. Yeah, we'll check it out. Smaller time frame, I assume. 4 hour. Yeah, I can agree with you there. 2 hour. Yeah, certainly could be. I mean, we've got the breach. I always say it's hard to sell the market, so be careful with what you're trying to do. But you are correct. That's technically a high with a pretty much equal high. You've got a closure at least on some significant time frame, like a 2 hour. And the daily, not yet. I mean, you probably need the daily underneath 172.30. But then you've also got to ask yourself, even if you do short this, where do you take it to? You got to be very nimble when you're in these shorts. Do you take it to the daily 20 and then flick it off? Or do you try to go down to the weekly 20 and make more money? This is the problem that you're going to have with something like Apple and trying to short it off a double top. Remember, shorting is hard. Buying is much easier at the correct levels. Bradley says Max Payne and Apple was 160. Figured with quad witching, I'd have a shot. That's fair assumption. Fair assumption. How about IWM? Yeah, sure. We can check IWM. So IWM is just back on support. We never closed above 220, unfortunately. We're really just not getting the signals here. We didn't quite get that closure above here on the previous day. We looked for 220 plus closure. Didn't get that. Now we're back on support. So IWM is right back on support. This is why it kind of needs to bounce on Friday. You know, we need to bounce on Friday. Market now being sold off a little bit into the close. 14 minutes. Pretty wild, actually. It's moved 0.3%. And obviously the NAS has moved 0.5 plus. So we've got the Russell sitting on its knees saying, you know what, we need purchasing over here. We've got the sugars being taken off every market. So that's not just the Fed. The Fed, we all expected to raise rates, but we didn't expect the Bank of England to come out with a raise rate. And then the ECB to also say, oh yeah, we're taking it away as well. I mean, that's a phenomenal change or turnaround for the ECB and Bank of England. They do not do it. If anyone knows and has followed them for a long time, they took years to do anything after the global financial crisis, and now they're already starting to do it. It's pretty big change. I mean, America, sure, we expected it, but over there, wow, so quickly, actually partially unexpected. So we have a lot of supports. We've got the support for IWM hovering right around the zone, with the Nasdaq kind of floating on down. Obviously, the huge support here is going to be around that 15,750, the previous lows. And the US 500, well, the big support is going to be 4,600, but in general, that 20 moving average seems like a pretty good area for it. Let's move over to Tesla. Tesla hits 1,000 and sells off. So the bears have won again on this so far. We're still in kind of nowhere land. Like, I mean, only shorters would be pretty much holding at this stage, or investors buying in. I don't think it's really a great buy zone yet. We need to either crack 1,000, which we didn't do, or we get back down to 900. So we actually have some more room to fall here on Tesla. And if you think about it, what have you got right now? You've got AAPL looking kind of weak. You got Tesla definitely looking kind of weak. What else have we got here? Microsoft, right back on support. Okay. Enphase, pretty much support. Amazon, middle of nowhere land. So let's have a look at the FANG in general. Chilling in nowhere land. So there's no clear definitive bearishness across the board just yet. But we might get it. I mean, here's where the FANG will go bad. Underneath that 5,000 550. So I'll still go with the slight positive for Friday, but yeah, interesting stuff. Alexandre says, hi, Tom. You said Thursday is more volatile than Friday when it comes to quadruple witching. That is correct. Could you explain why? The way I really see it is just it's got to do with people act early and the manipulation tends to occur here. I mean, it's kind of like the buy the rumor, sell the fact, yeah? Similar with quad witching. The thing about quad witching is there's 4 different options expiring. If you wanted to take max advantage of retail herds mind frame, or I mean, you see this a lot, guys, with the Thursday being more volatile. If you wanted to take advantage of the retail market, you would probably manipulate the day before to create retail into either a panic, fear, or some kind of manipulation to whatever range you want. And then on Friday, it doesn't have to be as volatile because you've already got everyone to close their orders, open their orders, that type of thing. It's a lot about what do they want coming into the expiration as well. But in general, I think it's just really a play on retail. The Thursday is the day that tends to be bigger. It's not, look, I actually got one of the guys in the community to pull me stats on everything to do with quad witching. I might release some of it in today's video. There's not a huge amount of correlation between the actual witching day itself, Friday, and incredible volatility. But I do think the Thursday tends to be a little bit more. Spy had a stupid bullish hammer. Now they're pushing into the close. Yeah. So let's have a look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour still has it. Chris Weatherly, $1.99. ASO, please. I'm bullish with the smiley face. All right, man. We'll do that in a second. Is Tesla going to fill the gap? Which gap? IWM hurt me? Yeah, it hurt a lot of people, I think, unfortunately. That's good, Bradley. I'm glad it's in your option gamble accounts, as in that was in one of those kind of accounts. IWM is sketchy. Well, that's the problem. If we've got a sketchy market on the small caps and it goes through those levels, that's going to be very, very bad. So US 500 still sinking up here with some buying. Look, we do need to look at the candles here. We basically have a bullish hammer. We are starting to get follow through. If this closes green as well, you have to think this is telling us that Wall Street's buying the close. Wall Street's having a bit of a laugh coming into the Friday. Chris says, just buy the BIP. LMAO. Why did Snow have such a big drop today? Seems higher than the other stocks. Snow holding up fairly well, wasn't it? Tom, could you have a look at the ASX? Yeah, we'll check out the ASX. Though it's pretty much just the exact same. The good thing about, or the easy thing about the ASX, just quickly, is that it's just stuck in a giant channel. So really, it's pretty simple analysis. We have supports, we have resistances, and we're in the middle of nowhere. Daily 200 may act as support as well. All right, let's grab that other one, which is ASO. Got a request for this, Academy Sports and Outdoors Inc. Thank you very much to 623 people joining us. Just if you haven't viewed anything yet, the real market information here is, of course, central banks across the world choose to actually raise rates, pull back tapering. They're actually doing it. They're not just saying they're doing it. I mean, I think a lot of people correctly identified that the Fed might claim they're going to do 3 interest rates next year, but the reality the market probably sees is realistically 2, and the third one is like a 50-50. The thing is, though, the BOE just went, hey, yeah, we're going to raise rates right now. Don't worry about that. It does affect the world. That's a big central bank policy. It makes it also scarier in what the Fed said, because now all of a sudden probably people half believe what they're saying. Most of the time, no one believes the Fed. ASO, ooh, that's maybe a bit of a break of an uptrend. So that happened over here, and you can see some increased volatility since that. You do have the daily 200. I mean, I always go with you need turnaround stories when you see a falling knife like that. You've had some big days. I mean, percentage wise, this has dropped just from here to here 18%. So I'd be looking for some kind of accumulation base. You know what I'm going to say. Lightning bolt, double bottom, and hopefully it stops around here, this daily 200. NVIDIA, please. Yeah, we can have a look at NVIDIA. Assume it's down today. 6.73%, so back into support. Very volatile stock. Day traders like this at the moment because of the big percentages. If we did get another red day and the NAS went bad, then of course I think our fruition play of NVIDIA going really bad back down to 230 could happen. But at this stage, it closes into support. So right where it was before, go to the 2 hour. Yeah, it's closing into support. 6 minutes to go here, guys. As I said, most things are down, unfortunately, today. Where there are some silver lights is, of course, gold. Let's have a look at that. Broke through 1793, came back, actually hit it perfect. So you can tell that we had the right line there. It's buying off that zone. This is actually a pretty big positive for gold. Silver market's also reacting with some positiveness. We've obviously got that 2260 coming up for it. Bullish hammer yesterday. Momentum follow through has continued, which is very, very handy. US oil, another one that's doing okay at this stage. Still holding up, but needs to breach this price up here, which is around that 73 flat. It's come back up to 73, you can see. Sold straight off it. If we close above there, US oil will also look quite positive. Just going to load up the sectors for the day. 4 minutes till the close. Stocks that we like. Jeez. I'm mostly just looking at my sectors at the moment and indices. That's what I usually do when I'm trying to find basing on some stuff. Like, I mean, look at this. DKNG is now on a new low. It's right on that 26. God, that's fallen a lot. Airbnb's cracked back through. It's actually sitting on pretty good resistance, becomes support, but still falling knife. Intel, if you can believe, it's actually up. It's still floating around. Spot, just doing nothing, but still that 220 has been pretty good buying for it for quite a while. So, I mean, investors are probably going to like some of these levels. AMC and GME, probably done. All right, let's get our one-day rate here. Semiconductors down the most. Let's actually look up SMH for a second. Semiconductors back on support. This will be a good signal for NVIDIA as well. If you actually trade NVIDIA, obviously it makes up a big portion of this. If you close under the whole sector, this actually just looks like an NVIDIA chart nowadays. 275 is the next support. Doesn't that look like NVIDIA? That's crazy how much it's become part of the semiconductors. So semiconductors down 4.37, XLK down 2.81, XLY down 2.17. So a lot of the world markets like LSE, London Stock Exchange markets, so the FTSE, even Europe to a degree, and of course the ASX will not be down as much as people suspect because materials and finances are up. And finances are the big winner of this instant interest rate hike from the BOE. That makes it more likely we do get the rate hikes next year. And as you'll see, things aren't all equal. And that's why the Dow is up or the Dow is flat. This is really just a hit on tech. Finkin79 says DKNG is so disappointing at the moment. Yes, really is. But that's the reason you have to wait for the turnaround. Really bad day for FANG. Yeah. It's not everything, though. It's just these particular sectors that are getting belted. Nice stop hunt on Tesla. That's true. So anyone in tech would be getting hit up hard a lot today. Everyone in other sectors, which will probably not be a lot of you, I'd say, not so bad. Let's have a look at Tesla, where we've got the options expiring tomorrow. I'll bring that up right now. 1 minute to the close, guys. We'll just load up that US. We've got the QQQ here. Let's load side by side. Put the 5 minute on. And we've got the US 500. We want to see that 1 hour. There it is. Put sitting around 950 for Tesla for tomorrow's expiration and 900. So you certainly don't expect it under 900. Huge amounts of calls on Tesla actually this week. So the market's coming in here. We have sell-off a little bit into the last minute. And there they go. They're closed. Overall, how do we feel about that? So 1 hour, bullish hammer with a bit of red. That's not really great on the SPX. And the NAS or the QQQ, not much. Good thing for day traders, though, you've got some good levels for tomorrow now. So you obviously know your support. You breach this, algos will start selling it down. You'll have a good day trade. And you've got your resistance. When you breach this, you can look for buys. And you got your range. Similar for QQQ, probably a breach of this or this line here. And you can start to look for lightning bolt buys in the market. And look at the transactions. Look at the volume coming at the end. There's a decent amount of volume floating around. Actually, the volume in the close was almost as high as the volume at the open. Neil, $4.99. Hi, Tom Shingawa, I think it is. Hi, Tom. Can you do a breakdown of the QQQ looking at 390 calls end of Jan? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, we can, well, we're kind of doing it, I guess. The QQQ is a harder market to read than the S&P. So I would always go to the S&P, figure out what that's doing, and then try to analyze it from that perspective. But we could do it. Let's have a look. So the weekly, the reality of pretty much everybody right now is if we get underneath the weekly 20, the bears win. Okay, that's the reality. Bears win. I think we're going to weekly 50. That's my personal opinion. You can take of that what you feel like, but I'm going to remain bullish unless we're underneath the weekly 20. And then, yeah, okay, I'll remain short-term bearish on it towards the 50. Okay, that's my thoughts on the major QQQ levels. We know it's a major QQQ level down here at this 378-ish. This is where they fight it out. All right. Now, if we go to the daily, we don't really get much information from that, do we? I mean, we know we've got like this 383 low, but whatever, it's not going to help us very much. We go to the 4 hour, still very patchy. I mean, it's kind of like on, all right, we've got a gap down, we've filled the gap up, and we've got the gap down. I mean, can you really, like, this is a market that's clearly in turmoil. It doesn't really know what it wants to do. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. So this is why I say the S&P 500 is going to be easier for you to read. Now, the first bit of weird information that you get is this 2 hour 200. I mean, it seems to be buying little wicks off there. That's actually 1, 2, 3, and almost fourth time that's bought off that. But these are your key zones. I mean, you breach under here, you obviously go to here. You breach under here for a weekly, that's a huge deal. I mean, you get underneath here, probably a call would be busted on a close of the weekly. So you're saying you want to buy 390 calls, which I don't really like that type of strategy, but you do whatever you want. And I'd say, like, I don't like buying straight calls because they're expensive. And I assume with volatility where it is right now, it's going to be really expensive. So you've got to think about your options. I would suggest that you just consider the IV, how much it costs, what your break-even points are, those types of things. I can't tell you what to do because, of course, it's for this is only education, but calls are expensive. That is a fact. So I can say that at least. You don't really have clear direction on the QQQ just yet. The S&P 500 is a little bit different. If we go over, we'll do the analysis in the video today for both of these anyway. But yeah, this is my feeling, man. This tells us nothing. We have to go down to like the 15-minute, 5-minute chart to get some turnaround story. And I mean, is anything here looking bullish for the session? Not really. A little bit of sell-off here near the end even. So if you're going bullish, you're needing a closure above these zones. See how that becomes different? All of a sudden you're saying bam, bam, bam on the smaller time frames. All right, let's go. Rally, rally, rally. US 500 is buying partially here. So this is the US 500, 15-minute. This looks a little bit better because we have previous resistance. We've got previous resistance support. It's found some buying around here. We have a clear level, a much clearer level to do with the resistance sell-off. And that's where, like, imagine day traders come in here towards the bull side. You would think so. And that will also follow through to the QQQ. QQQ and SPX bear flag on the weekly. You can't have a bear flag if we haven't been going bearish. The idea of a flag is you have a pole. So you have pole, flag, pole, flag, etc. On the downside, you'd have pole, flag, pole. Yeah, I don't think you can't really have a bear when you haven't really sold off yet. ATVI. Do you really want to get me started on this piece of crap? And it is a piece of crap. Have they? Well, I'll tell you what. Is the CEO gone? Actually, similar to Take Two, actually has pretty good technical on it. This breach is pretty big deal. So it's still a piece of crap in my opinion until they turn it around. But I will say this: they're patching 002, and I'm pretty happy with that. So here we get the movement. That's a nice closure actually for the daily. So I might dislike the company strongly at the moment, but yeah, this is a fairly big deal. It's a nice base. So the CEO still exists. How is it possible? How? I don't trust him, guys. How is he still in? I don't understand at all. Take Two was the one we bought up yesterday. That's good as well. Take Two is really nice. That's a full-on inverse head and shoulders in the game industry. It's a really good one. I probably prefer this because it isn't Activision. but you know, Activision, they get so lucky. EA stuffed up so massively on their major game Battlefield that people are actually going to buy that Call of Duty, which is also terrible. I'm pretty sure is Call of Duty terrible, guys? Someone here would play it. Gold did good today. Yeah, Gold's done quite well. John Moore says Take Two's CEO is much more business minded. Yeah, I like. Well, oh no, Activision's is, except for the thing is he doesn't look past like 2 seconds of profit. Plus, he's caught up in every scandal under the sun. So this is a nice closure here for it. EA Sports, it's in the game. When they say that, does that mean they have like loot boxes in the game? It's in the game. Your first payment is only part of the journey. SPY inverse head and shoulders on the daily. Oh, I think stop looking at patterns, guys, like this. We don't want to consider patterns everywhere. Okay, patterns are cool and all, but don't think everything's a pattern. I can see your point. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Generally, again, what is the idea of a head and shoulders pattern? It should be the end of a trend and the start of a new trend. Okay, so you've got a downward trend. You've got the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. It begins the new trend. I do like patterns within trends on the smaller time frames, e.g. double bottoms, etc., or even inverse head and shoulders. But this is basically just look at it as really what it is. There's a resistance. Okay, there's a resistance. We know it's huge. There's some supports. And if they breach, we go to the next levels. But we don't need to think about too much as a pattern. People got to get outside of the mindset of just patterns. We need to go to the rules of what is the price action actually telling us. No worries, Daniel. Thank you very much. Thank you as well to the 650 people joining us. Appreciate that. SM says COD is no good. And Gary says COD is trash. Yeah, well, that Activision chart actually looked a lot better. And so does Take-Two. Maybe the whole games industry is recovering. Give me some other games codes. Well, we got EA. Let's look at EA. Electronic Arts. Yeah, every one of the games stocks is looking better. Not that I like this one as much as the others. What other EA? We don't really want that one that that made, what was it called? Project Red or something. We don't want that one. Bull or bear tomorrow? I'm going to go with the bull side. Why not, Bros, man? We're going to have a bull side. A lot of fancy scariness into the quad witching event. The sugar rush came off very, very quickly, thanks to the BOE, the Bank of England. Ubi, that's right. Oh, Ubisoft, that's a bit of a poor one. Yeah, I would say that is fair. Okay, nothing good there. CD Project Red is getting better. CDPR. Is that it? CDR. Well, it's accumulating. Wouldn't really touch this thing until it closes back above resistances and shows us, but it is accumulating. It's starting to find some buyers. They probably will be a good house in the future in terms of they'll make another one. We got to remember they made The Witcher, was pretty good, so they do know what they're doing. But I'd say Take-Two and Activision actually look the best there. Morning, Tom. Love to hear your TA opinion on Vale. Well, I like all of the iron ore at the moment. The whole sector is very good. So yeah, I like that. Well, I don't really buy Vale because of course I'm Australian. I've got to buy BHP and Rio and FMG, but yeah, it's the same thing. They're all looking good. I mean, if you look at BHP, which is again very similar, and you think about the base accumulation here, it's so much better. I mean, is that not? That's phenomenal. Look at the volume. Look at the movement here. Look at just the chance of this area, and then of course further on. So they're all got really good accumulation bases. And this is what I say when you realize what's going on with sector rotation. Everyone's freaking out about the market right now. One of my favorite sectors of the last couple of, pretty much since the 1st of December has been this, just iron ore. It's not smoking it, but it's doing well in a market that's kind of volatile. They all have very similar setups. All right, let's talk about crypto. I'll obviously do a full recap of the US 500 and all of that later on. Let's just have a look at the futures. What are the futures doing? Futures, a little bit of buying, which is good news. Gold, silver, US oil, I'll put them in the recap. Platinum also another one that came out with the goods and it's done quite well. Brought that onto my chart this week. Platinum, palladium, all the metals were something I was looking at this week, and it looks like after that, Max Payne taking out a lot of people's stop losses. Those sneaky, sneaky people. We've got these bull turnarounds, and it's coming through on gold. It's coming through. I mean, gold's almost 1,800 again, which is a big deal for it. US 10-year down 2.33%. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. And let's have a look at this Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is flat boring at the moment. It hasn't done anything good. Why aren't you moving, Bitcoin? All we ask for you, it's not that hard, okay? Just get above here. Just go to 50K, all right? It's not that hard. And then give us 52 and then give us a break above 52. Okay? It's just a three-step approach. It's just not that hard. And once you get above 52, everyone in the crypto world can be smiley face. Okay? Unless you're in some crack coin. Because that will be finally an accumulation base on Bitcoin. But it hasn't done it, and it is just lame. I think I stick with the analysis of our last previous days, which is at the moment, it seems to be weakening. All we need is for it to breach, go to 52, and once you're through here, you've actually got the really good signal. That's the really good signal above 52. All of this is just more marginal signals. Break. Okay, day traders will try to come in, push it towards 52. And then if we get through that, that's where the big kahunas hopefully come back in. What do you guys think about the Bitcoin? Do you agree with this analysis, or have you got something else? Let us know in the chat right now. Denial phase Bitcoin. I wonder what he's going to say. It's over, he says. Are we in the denial phase, man? Nice name, bro. Kevin says BTC is going down. What a hater. Come on, Kevin. We got a lover here, man, not a hater. The way Tom talks about BTC, I think he's in it. I'm in Bitcoin. I've already told you guys I'm in Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. I think what I realized the other day is when I was out and the Bitcoin, you wouldn't believe it. I was literally out and the Bitcoin crashed. Yeah, so it had this crash. And I actually saw people under my age, around my age, they actually got their phones out and you could see them get sick. Like they went a little green. Some of them became little white ghosts. And it's because I instantly knew what they were in because, of course, I got the alerts. And, of course, they were in BTC. You could see they became – you know how like people become nervous and worried? Because I think a lot of people in Bitcoin and crypto just found out about leverage in the last 6 months. And that makes me think, oh, okay, yeah. There's a bit at stake here for a few people, I think. Chance it retests 4,200. As good a guess as like underneath here, 46. High. At this stage, we'll just go with this. Wall Street has a death grip on it, so expect max manipulation. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Trader McStockster. DK, $5. Thanks for the analysis, Tom. Love the live feed. No worries, DK. Thank you for your support. Is it a helicopter? Hopefully it's your helicopter. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much, DK. And Andy Pandy, $5. Hi, Tom. What's your opinion on Bollinger Bands for TA? They're really good if you're a day trader. Not sure if I see the benefit, but got some friends who do well and swear by them. Yeah, they'll work for a long time in certain market conditions, and then they will belt you around. So just remember, the middle of the Bollinger is the 20 moving average. A lot of people don't even know that. I'm sure I just taught somebody that right now. So the middle of the Bollinger, then you've got standard deviations away from it. So if you add a Bollinger on, there's a few different strategies that people use. I'll just reword Bollinger. Yeah. So how do I like Bollinger? I actually don't mind Bollinger on some markets. So let's go with the SPX for an example. What I will do sometimes in my analysis, very rarely because it doesn't happen that often, is if the Bollinger starts breaching outside the top end, I might start to say, whoa, hold back, Bollinger. When it's outside of there, what do you think I might be looking for? What month are we in of the year? Is there a seasonal coming? Those types of things become a big deal for me because I'm always looking for a return back to the 20 mean as a pretty good purchase or whatever the return back to whatever moving average is there. So you can use it as showing you maybe a little bit of overpriced market movement when it goes outside. It's not that good. You wouldn't just sell off it. That would smoke you. Where most people use it is they go down into like a 15-minute time frame, and they will effectively either look for these types of candles outside, so rejection candles outside the Bollinger, and they'll short it back to the mean or the bottom end of the Bollinger candle, like here, the Bollinger range. or they sometimes will buy off the Bollinger bottom. So when it goes, say they're bullish, when it goes to the bottom of the Bollinger during a bullish trend that they believe in, they will pick it up. And they'll just basically buy these zones and sell it off at the top, or sell at whatever price they want. There's a lot of different strategies people use on them, but there's some of them. So when you get candles on the exposure, like it goes out and it gives you like a tweezer here, double rejection, that would be, say, on the S&P 500. This would be like a day trader short. Just an extra confirmation for them. You don't need Bollinger, but some people like it. As I said, there's a few different strats you can use, and it is a good indicator. I wouldn't go against it. Peak FUD right now, I assume this is in regards to Bitcoin, and people keep falling for it. Damn silly. Yes. Let's see what people thought about the green people. That's right, Kevin. That's where we want to be. Alexandra says, Tom, is that your strategy? You're begging your stocks to go up? Yes. Nah, dude. You can't be begging anything. I just like yelling at stuff on the screen. It's a bit more entertaining then, yeah? So I've decided at the moment Bitcoin is the thing I yell at. I yell at Bitcoin and Activision Blizzard. I used to yell at space, except for space, I just wanted it to go down. And now it's down, so we're happy with that. Tom, any thoughts on TAN index? It's dumping. Nova stocks went from 43, now 27. Yeah, so TAN index, well, just firstly to finish up on Bitcoin, look, it's not bad. It looks okay, but it needs to breach this downward trend, yeah? Pretty simple. Same with Ethereum. We need to see some strength to get it back above that 4,200. Hopefully it comes through. We'll find out. TAN is a solar active or solar ETF. It's pretty much just floating around its current support. So it's dumped off hard. My thought process here is, well, I've obviously got it, something like this. Needs to kind of hold these zones as much as possible. This is the horizontal support. I would like to see a turnaround here. Some turnaround, something to show us the strength is there. And we don't have it yet, but we are on heavy support, and I'm watching it quite closely. Do you think BTC will turn to a giant inverse head and shoulders? Not really. I just think it'll do what we just said, which is going to be hopefully break through that trend line and go better. How's the VIX looking today? Well, the VIX is actually how cheap's net? Just quickly. It could be a double bottom in the future. All right, we'll check that out soon. And where are we? VIX 20.56. So just above 20 coming into the Friday. PLTR is trash, lol. Yeah. Do we have any fans of PLTR left in the community? This stock, guys. I feel like it punishes you unfairly. Unfairly, you get punished by PLTR just for believing in it. Maybe one day you'll come and laugh at me, but not just yet. Oh, man. This stock. I mean, at least it's on support, I guess. There's so much for it to do. Kathy dumped PLTR? She did not. Really? She really dumped it? Let me have a look here. Kathy's ARC. Which was her fund for PLTR? She must have only sold a portion of it, though. Trades. Let's have a look what she's been doing. Let's check this out, guys. All right, what's she doing right now? So she's buying Beam. Okay. She continues to buy Roku. All right, fair enough. Ugh, Zoom. Though I will admit this, I did a Zoom yesterday with somebody, and we tried Teams, and they couldn't get Teams to work, but they got Zoom to work quite fine. So it is easier to use. Selling this, that's just because you've got to rebalance. Buying more Hood, buying more Roblox, selling Edit. Interesting. PLTR sold point, actually a big portion. 0.192 in RK. Oh, yeah. So let's have a look at the weight rankings. Yeah, that's a bit of a drop. If anyone wants to know what this website is, just Kathy's Arc. I tend to find that's pretty good. ZM died, lol. Yeah, I don't like that company. Maybe I will. I've traded it a few times. I wouldn't buy it. The moat's so small. Is it cheap yet? 176. Maybe that's cheap. Remember when Wall Street were buying it? You can't say that Wall Street always get it right. They loved it over here. I remember the articles. I don't forget what they were doing. They literally were purchasing it. You could see it in their filings. They loved it over here. Still in awe of the UPST chart. Upstart Holdings. Ooh. Yeah. Now that's a big head and shoulders. Not that it matters. It just dumped itself hard. Yep. That's the thing. How's what everyone used to tell me about going old SoFi? That's back on its knees. Seems like every story that's been popular out of, I guess, socials is really underachieving, except for Tesla. Would you guys agree? I feel like every hyper stock's kind of going bad. Kramer loved ZM at 550. Oh yeah, I had a mean chart to show you of Kramer. That's from the room. I saw it this morning. I kind of chortled a little bit. Where is it? It's pretty mean. Here we go. Oh man. Are you ready, guys? Here we go. So what do we got here? We got UAVS down 72.6%. I mean, obviously I have wins. It's a bit of a biased chart. They're pretty mean. They just get every single thing he talked about in Feb and Jan and March. Just 60s and 70s and 80%. I think people forget this guy has to talk about the markets every day. He has to come up with concepts. He has to do stuff. You know, he's just getting whatever he can get together and just keeps saying it. Imagine if every day he went in there and he just said, I like Apple, I like Apple, I like Apple, I like Apple. Would that really be good analysis? I don't think so. How old is that price? Is a way off. Well, the paid price is correct. I don't know when this was made. What's Plug trading at right now? This price was 27.1 Plug. Oh, Plug's come back down to a much fairer price recently. 27.1. So he said 20. He wanted Plug at 67.70. So somewhere in here. Oh well. Best investments for 2022. Well, we'll do a special next week and talk about some quality stuff for it. AB. I remember next week we will do live streaming up until the end, and then we will have a 2-week hiatus on the live streams. We'll still create videos, and then we'll come back in the new year and obviously smash it out for the community. So we've got some new exciting things that I'm going to be hopefully working on for 2022. I think it's going to be pretty damn good. So just to recap today, guys, look, it's all about the indices. You have to watch the indices as much as possible. US 500, US 100, US 30. Understand that it's not an across the board sell today. It's mostly in certain sectors, and we'll go with that. Mitchell Miller, $20. Thank you very much, Mitchell. You're always great support here. Thank you. Hi, Tom. Yesterday, you noted the 3 things you need for every trade you get into. Have you ever removed a stop loss given a crazy manipulation for a stock like a PayPal, Amazon, etc.? Look, Yeah, trades and investments are a little bit different. If I switch it to I want to actually invest in it or I'm going to hold it for multi months, yeah, I'm not going to say I haven't removed a stop loss, but removing stop losses is a bad strategy. I have modified a stop loss to be correct if I thought I made a mistake on it and then noted that. But you are correct, Mitchell. You don't really, every time you place an entry, for a trade, you should have an idea of a take profit and an idea of a stop loss. Now, if you realize halfway into that trade, oh, whoops, I forgot about over here where the low is, and I think that's actually going to be more likely to be the occurrence, then if you modify the stop loss, that's okay. But you got to remember you're taking more risk all of a sudden. So is that going to be in line with it? Do you need to take the order out and replace it with a different smaller order or reduce it or something? Yeah. So have I done it? Yes. For stocks like PayPal, no, I just got. I did have a position in PayPal. I lost it, so um, I will look at it again at this base, but I'll show you where it was. I mean, you guys would know. Just here. I just got hit. Stop lost. So in here, it met a lot of my recovery position plays. That's all right. I mean, sometimes it happens, eh? But again, I treated it like a trade because I didn't want to hold it at this price. And because I treated it like a trade, I got stopped. And then I can come back and reassess it later on. I haven't touched it since. It's just been falling off on a knife. But is this base very good? Yeah, it's looking much, much better. This is the type of thing that gets you excited about the stock. So hopefully that answers the question a little bit. Yeah, you don't really want to change your stop loss very often. You can, but you shouldn't. John Moore says Kramer has to be bullish or CEOs won't come on his show. It's probably true. Hot Potato Trader says always have a stop loss. That's correct. For your trades, yes. Investment's a little bit different. Did you cover Tesla? Yeah, we did. In the middle of the zone. Obviously, weakness to the 900 could be present. You notice it's 924 after the close. So we've got our two lines will be 900 and then the trend line itself. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you, Mitchell Miller. Always appreciate your support. Hopefully that answers it. If you have another question, just send it to me in Discord. I'll answer it as best I can. And yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you in a video probably in a few hours' time. If not, if you don't watch the video, have a great weekend. Have a kick-ass Friday in the US. And we'll see you on the weekend as well with another video. And I hope everyone's going to have a good festive season and you're not getting belted around the ears too much. I mean, obviously, tech's getting hit and hypers especially are getting hit. If anything, the hyper sector, if I could get it into a giant index, I'll see if anyone's got one. I guess RK would be kind of a good read on that. If it wasn't for Tesla, I mean, look at this. It's really bad. I mean, you can tell, but this is going to be the sector that performs probably pretty well in 2022. You know, all of a sudden, this has become the darling of 2020, and it didn't do well for quite a while. Like, remember, while she stacked great percentages, look at 18 into 19. This is what happens. Big run, consolidation, big run, consolidation. Will it come back? Will a lot of these ideas come back? I believe so. They're not all cooked. There's some great concepts in here. Gary says, I think hypers are dead other than Tesla. I kind of disagree with you. I do think there are some that will die, though, Gary. So you're going to be right. We're both going to be correct. And that's the problem. GM CEO just left from John. Breaking news. Do we have a... Yeah, that probably did happen based on only 3% down. I'd expect more. Maybe it was partially expected. I don't really look at this stock very much anymore. All right, guys. Catch up in the next video. Thank you so much. And thank you for the support as per usual. We'll have some special streams next week coming into our Christmas special and should be very good. Catch up.